Welcome to the Verdin Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. I got my guy G Sports coming here in a few minutes. We're going to do a quick intro, quick little recap of what we got going on for the show. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a good start to your week. It's Wednesday. You made it halfway through. You know what today is. We're going to be doing SEC Power Ranks. We're going to be previewing Texas A&M and LSU. Brian Kelly had his SEC teleconference. Couple of updates. You got Ashton Stamps leaving. You got some injury updates. And then got a little bit of a weather update, if you will, for this Saturday. I'm worried it's going to be pissing, raining cats and dogs, whatever you want to say. And I feel like that's going to go hand in hand with LSU's offense and their success. Because if it's raining, you're not able to throw the ball, you're going to have to rely heavily on a running game. And I feel like we know how LSU's running game has been through the last couple of weeks. From the injury standpoint, let me give you a couple of updates here. Bernard Gooden was able to practice yesterday in limited capacity. Wasn't able to do everything, but he was able to hit the practice field, put his pads on, get out there, move around. He looks to be trending in the right direction for his recovery. Now, Whit Weeks can't say the same for him. He's still in a boot, wasn't practicing. You're not going to know his status until game time. For Whit Weeks, in my opinion, I think that's going to be the biggest X factor for this game because you've got a mobile quarterback in Marcel Reed. You saw the absence of Whit Weeks Saturday against Diego Pavia and the Vandy squad that was able to kind of do what they wanted with LSU's defense. And I'm not trying to say that without Bernard, you're not going to be able to win Saturday, but it'll make it that much more difficult. Why? The pressure standpoint. First off, Texas A&M has the ability to run the ball like, quite frankly, no other SEC team. They got 3 runners that average 5 yards per carry with Marcel Reed, Le'Veon Moss, and then they're running back 2 with Owens. They're going to be able to, I feel like, wear this LSU defensive line down. That's what I'm worried about. That front 7 not able to answer the bell over and over when you're constantly getting bullied, quite frankly. And I'm not trying to say that's what Vandy did, but look at the South Carolina game. Take it a few weeks back when you were watching Lenore Sellers carry for 20-plus attempts. And at times, toward the end, it was hard to get him down. At times, he was breaking tackles, and sometimes it wasn't the best effort. But it just goes to show when you've got to constantly go out over and over and over and answer the bell in that regard, it's going to wear you down. It's a physicality approach. Vandy's approach wasn't more so bullying you up front. It was just trying to chew as much clock as possible and win the time of possession battle, in which they did. They chewed over 30 minutes of possession time. And I think you can see a similar attack here on Saturday, especially with the weather and especially if pieces like Bernard Gooden and Whit Weeks are not able to answer the bell. Let's talk about Ashton Stamps real quick. This is going to be one of the biggest pieces of news that everybody's talking about. Why did LSU lose one of their key pieces in the cornerback room as of last year? He was their key starter. He led in deflections, and he was really your cornerback 1 for, I would say, almost 2 seasons at this point. The first initial response that I've got for this is it kind of shows the state of LSU's defensive roster through those years. It kind of showed that they didn't have the best quality prospects, the best quality defensive backs. They didn't have all the Jimmies and Joes in line that they do now. You hit a transfer portal where you get the number 1 class, you bring in a decent recruiting class, the number 1 corner in DJ Pickett. You obviously bring in guys like Mansour Delane. PJ Woodland has a great year where he elevates throughout the offseason. And then now you're left with not enough snaps for everybody. And we talked about it on Monday to begin the week that Brian Kelly was hypothesizing a potential red shirt. And they're going to try to preserve not only Ashton Stamps, but Jordan Gilbert because they've only played 3 games. More than likely, you don't need them with the amount of depth that you got. Plus, if you look a little bit further into LSU's future, they're going to lose a lot of DB prospects. And putting a red shirt on people that you really don't need to use now puts you in a spot where you don't got to go attack in the portal as hard in those positions. Now, do they think Ashton Stamps would have hit that red shirt and stayed the entire time? I doubt it. I think the writing was on the wall here for a talent of this caliber. If any one of the 2 would have hit that red shirt, stayed, and waited for their turn next season, it'd have been Jordan Gilbert. I don't think Ashton Stamps is one of those prospects that's just, especially after 2 seasons of starting, going to just kind of fizzle out and wait. Now, I'm not trying to say it's right or wrong. It's just I expected this one. I expected Ashton Stamps in a bit to transfer. Let's talk about this LSU and A&M game coming up. Like I said, you got some weather, inclement weather, and then not only that, you got a damn drone show. And this one got an interesting response on Facebook. Not a lot of people are happy about this because with the state of LSU's program right now, everybody's wondering why focus on this. Now, here's my response to it. You can't just put yourself in a situation where, oh, it ain't working, LSU's not succeeding. We ain't doing nothing. We're not doing no type of celebrations. We ain't doing no type of halftime, events or whatever. I'm just not sure if that's the correct response here at that point. Like, yeah, people are pissed off at Brian Kelly. Yeah, you could potentially lose against Texas A&M, but what are we gonna do? Everybody just pout. Everybody just boo. Everybody just complain the whole entire time. We got our guy G Sports here tuning in. I'm gonna pop him up, ask for his opinion. Nostradamus in the chat. Come on, man, give it up. Nostradamus, G Sports. What's up, dude? Had some Houston Rockets basketball last night. Had my heart on a roller coaster. Took me up, took me down. Wound up losing, but it is what it is. We got some ballers. G, how you doing on Wednesday?
I'm doing all right, man. I was watching my Rockets play last night, bro, and we look good, but not having Fred VanVleet gonna hurt us down the stretch in the games, bro. I think that's gonna be something where they're gonna have to go try to find somebody before the trade deadline or before the All-Star break to get us a true point guard in there. I think that's gonna be critical for us, especially when you get ready to go in the playoffs.
100%. 34 turnovers. Come on, man. That ain't gonna do it. No, I think it was 24. Either way, too many of them.
24.
Too many of them. I want to ask your thoughts on this. We talked about Ashton Stamps on Monday hitting that red shirt, but now, he's entering the transfer portal. And my reaction a little bit ago was not too shocked because he's such a talented player. He had 2 years under his belt. I'd imagine some people are going to come calling and he'll get a decent job. He might even stay in the SEC or the Big Ten. I was going to also double down and say if anybody would have hit that red shirt and stayed for LSU, it'd have been Jordan Gilbert, just because I feel like, I'm not going to say he hadn't proven as much, but Ashton Stamps, he led us in deflections last year. And then also another point, it kind of showed the level of talent that LSU's had throughout the last few years. Because now you get to a point where you bring a Mansour Delane, DJ Pickett, BJ Willens, talent rises because of competitive depth. And now you got Jimmys and Joes out the wazoo. And I feel like it's just an interesting representation of how LSU's looking right now from a talent. React to Ashton Stamps departing. What's your thoughts on this?
I'm not surprised. This is the landscape of college football. You think you got depth, but you really don't have depth because if a guy feels that they should have a bigger role, they're not going to want to play. They're not going to want to play more than 4 games because then you lose their year of eligibility. So
Yep.
I understand both sides of it. I understand Ashton Stamps is looking at it like if I play, even though I'm not playing, I'm not having a role that I expected to have this year, then now I only got 1 year to play with. Well, with him doing this, now he has 2 years, right? And
Mhm.
so from a player's standpoint, I get it. From his, him talking it over with his family, I get it. But then I also get it from LSU standpoint or whatever university is dealing with this. Because now if DJ Pickett goes down, if Mansour Delane goes down, that's a really good player that you don't have to come rotate in for you. And so it puts you in a bad situation, bro. Especially when you start talking about this time of the season when guys are dealing with knick-knack injuries and you one play away, you one turn ankle away from going down. So, you know, um, all the best wishes for Ashton Stamps, man. I covered him in high school at Rummel, covered him at some camps. He was a guy that kind of was a late bloomer when you talk about getting recruited by big schools. So I'm sure he'll land so well, really good and have a really good career.
Do you think anybody gets an opportunity in this room now with something like this? Because I mean, you can't always predict these types of things. But like, look, a Michael Turner, does he get more reps in a situation potentially? Like, does somebody here now take what was presented to them?
Yeah, PJ Woodland was the third corner. Then you still have Jakeem Jackson that came from Florida.
Yep.
So I would think that's the next 2 guys that will rotate in behind Mansour Delane and DJ Pickett. Michael Turner for sure still will have an opportunity at some point. I think Jakeem Jackson been dealing with a hamstring this whole season. That's why we really haven't been seeing him. I think he might have played a couple snaps on special teams, but PJ Woodland has been the one that's been getting the most burn out of everybody, and he deserves it, bro. He's been a playmaker, and I just worry about as they get into the latter part of this season, bro. Hopefully, they can stay healthy on that back end because if they don't, not having Ashton Stamps is definitely gonna hurt them.
I agree. And through like the first few weeks, G, of the season, as we've kind of started to have success, I'm starting to think like we said it multiple times on the show, but it ain't always the best team. It's sometimes the luckiest team, whether it be injuries, penalties, yada, yada, yada. I can go on and on. Shit, we can talk about weather because Saturday that's going to roll into Tiger Stadium. But LSU has to keep that health. intact. Because if you add Bernard Good and Whit Weeks, God bless, another one on the defense, your whole entire scheme and outlook changes. And I'll give you an update on Bernard and Whit. BK said Bernard played in practice yesterday, limited, but Whit still in the boot. They don't really know how his status will be more towards game time. And I feel like that's going to be an X factor here because I mentioned Le'Veon Moss, Marcel Reed, Owens, their backup, all rushers averaging 5 yards per carry. And I was also saying, like, there's an opportunity here if it's inclement weather that they just lean on that defense, bro. Do kind of a Vandy, similar style. Take a nice chunk out of that clock, chew up the time of possession, batter them a little bit up front, make them breathe heavy, and then if you don't got two of your best guys up front, I just don't know how you respond to that. What's your thoughts for Saturday, and do you think those injuries are going to play a huge role into this game?
So it's supposed to rain on Saturday?
Bro, it's talking about 70%, and it don't start till 6 o'clock. And look, you know Louisiana weather. It can rain, it can stop, it can start, who knows? But if you look at the weather app right now, 70% chance from starting at 6 o'clock. I'm bringing a poncho, put it that way.
I'll be in the press box.
Lucky. I'll be soaked. I'll be soaked.
I'll be in the press box, Brody. I actually think this benefits LSU if it rains.
All right.
I really do. And I say that because Texas A&M has so much speed on offense. When you talk about Ruben Owens, Le'Veon Moss, Conception the receiver, Mario Creva, bro, they got some dynamic guys. Terry Bussey, they got some speed on that offensive side of the ball. Marcel Reed, the quarterback, the way he likes to run around and quarterback design runs. I think this is going to benefit LSU's defense tremendously. And I think just being in Tiger Stadium, having that home field advantage, I think the offense can muster up at least 20 to 21 points, right? I think they could do that, even if the weather is not where it's supposed to be. And the reason why I say that because I think the defense can mess around and give them 2 to 3 turnovers and give them short field position, which would make it easier for them to score some points on Saturday. So that's I'm being optimistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know Texas A&M is playing at a high level right now.
Yeah.
We know that Texas A&M is playing 10 times better than where LSU is playing right now. And I watched Texas A&M this year, bro. And the thing that I've been most impressed with is Marcel Reed as a passer. We know what he could do as a runner. We knew that. We saw that last year what he did us. But I think he's take probably the biggest step when you talk about quarterbacks that came back from last year.
Mm-hmm.
He has taken the biggest step as a passer. And that's including Garrett Nussmeier. That's including DJ Lagway, Lenore Sellers, Diego Pavia.
Arch
Like,
Manning.
yeah, I think he has taken the biggest step, bro. What he's doing this year, that's what I thought DJ Lagway was going to do. When we was in Atlanta talking about the quarterbacks and the teams that was going to be good in the SEC, Marcel Reed name didn't even come out anybody's mouth.
Right.
Texas A&M wasn't even talked about like that, bro. They was like an afterthought. And man, have they really, really took everybody by storm in the SEC.
I agree, bro. And then when you look at the statistics, like I could even argue that their offense is way more explosive than Vandy, dog. 460 total yards, 36 points per game. I'm scared about this test, man.
Listen. A&M offense is 10 times better than Vandy's offense. What makes Vandy offense so effective is they just do a great job of catering to their personnel. When we talk about from a talent standpoint and explosion and dynamic, bro, they're not even on the same stratosphere as Texas A&M.
And that kind of worries me in a little tiny bit because I know matchups make games, so it's not going to be like as simple as if you struggle against Vandy, you're going to 100% struggle against A&M. But man, when I just look at the depth chart, and then you were talking about the wide receivers, KC number 7, Mario number 1, bro, they combined for 10 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to put some context to that statistic. Garrett Nussmeier, no slander. I'm just saying, he has 11 passing tutties. So their top 2 wide receivers are combining for what almost every single LSU wide receivers combined for.
And look, they have a ton of explosive plays. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I want to say Texas A&M leads the SEC and plays over 20 yards.
I believe it, bro. And I'm wondering, like, yeah, I feel like the weather can kind of take some of that out. But
yeah,
then
that's what I'm saying.
If they constantly pound that run, though, I just want to know how LSU is going to respond to that. If you got
Bernard Gordon, I still think it will benefit LSU because although A&M can run the ball, they're not a team that They're not gonna do the same type of. They're not gonna have the same type of scheme that Vandy has. If this was Vandy coming into Death Valley and it's gonna rain, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. But A&M is trying to get on the perimeter, bro.
Okay.
They're trying to get on the perimeter and get it and use their speed. Vandy was trying to hit it up the gut, A gap, B gap. It was just a little different. So I think LSU defense can benefit from the weather being bad on Saturday. That's just my personal opinion.
I'm gonna ask for your prediction here. I'm going to I'm gonna lean Aggies, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I think they get their first SEC dub in Death Valley. I think there's a little bit of value there at the number 3 team in the country, number 1 ranked SEC team at -135 straight up. And then here's my unfortunate gut feeling. Now I would let it be wrong. This isn't a feeling where it's like I want it to be 100% right and I gotta call it. Quite frankly, I'd rather the opposite. I think that the defensive pressure that A&M's line is going to put up against Nussmeier and that the offensive line that we've been questioning a little bit. I think Nussmeier might have a late game turnover, and it's just going to be very reminiscent to what the A&M game was for me last year because they got all that tape. And not only do they have all that tape, but now Marcel Reed is going to be in there for 4 quarters. And sure, yeah, they're going to game plan for him, so I'm going to hat tip to that. It's going to be able to be fixed. But, gee, I watched in 1/2 what Marcel Reed did to LSU. Now I got to watch 2 halves of it. Now, could it be different? Yes, it could. My gut is my gut is my gut, and I'm worrying a little bit. How are you feeling about it?
My gut tells me that LSU is going to come out with some formations that A&M hasn't really seen on film. That's what my gut tells me. I just don't see Brian Kelly and that offensive staff and Joe Sloan saying we're going to do the same thing we've been doing these first 5-6 weeks of the season, knowing that one of our best offensive linemen and Tyree Adams, which is Nussmeier's blind spot, he's gone. You saw how bad DJ Chester looked at how bad DJ Chester looked against Vanderbilt. I mean, getting bull rushed right into Nussmeier. Bro, that's unacceptable. I'm sorry. Right? You know how Weston Davis been struggling, right? Mabenga. Like they just don't have a good group. I'm not gonna say they don't have a good group because I do think this group is talented. I think it's a lack of experience, and I think it's a lack of chemistry on the O line, and it's a lack of physicality for whatever reason that is. So I just think that they're gonna do some different things. I think you're gonna see a lot of 2 tight end sets. I think you're gonna see well they might keep both of the tight ends in and the running back to give him a lot of max protection, which means you probably want to only have 2-man routes. Sometimes you're gonna have 3-man routes and let one of the tight ends go out, keep one in, and keep the running back in. Right? You're gonna need 7-man, 6-man protection 75, 80% of the time on Saturday. That's the only way they're gonna be able to have some type of success throwing the ball.
Yep.
Because if you think that this group is gonna be able to block A&M's group 1-on-1, I don't know what you've been watching. How number 9, the edge rusher, leads the SEC in sacks. So you already know what type of day is about to be. They secondary, long, lengthy, athletic. Desmond Ricks, Will Lee, Bryce Anderson. Bro, they got dudes. Linebacker, York, Scooby Williams. I think York probably one of the best linebackers in the SEC, bro. I think he's probably the heart and soul of their defense. Number 21. Matter of fact, he caught a pick last year. They're gonna have to show A&M some different looks that they haven't seen on film if they want to have success on Saturday. If they come out doing the same thing they've been doing, running the same type of formations, and A&M gonna eat them alive. They just will. That's just how I feel about it.
So you got LSU winning, you think? That's your
I
lean?
I, I'm gonna go if the weather is bad, I'm gonna go LSU.
All right.
I go LSU. I go LSU 17-13. No, what?
17-13.
No, 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 no. 17-14. LSU. If it's raining.
I like it. The
If it's
extra point.
nasty, and it's raining, even if the rain off and on, I go LSU 17-14. If it's a light rain, the rain stop and it's not nasty on that field, I gotta go with A&M 28-14.
Watch this. Watch how weird I'm about to be. 17-16 A&M, and I'll walk you through it. 3 field goals from Ramos, and then you get 7.
Hold up, you
from
got 3 field
Asmani.
goals even if it's raining?
Hell yeah, I do, bro. I think that LSU is going to be red zone. Whoa. I think you're going to get down there. It's going to struggle. I mean, bro, when LSU gets in that red zone, I hate to say it, there is an efficiency chart on Twitter. I wish I had the picture with me. You probably saw it. LSU has over 50% of I think it's like a positive drive, whatever little word they use to describe this statistic. Either way, they're averaging 2 points per drive, dog. Everybody that's averaging 2 points per drive has like 25% success. LSU's having over 50% success, but it's one of those plots where like everybody's over here and LSU's right here. It's like, man, what am I watching? So I'm just doing it for the prices right in me. I want to be real close. You got 14. Wait, what do you have? You had 16, 13?
No. If it's raining or if it's nasty, I go LSU 17-14.
Oh,
If
17, 14.
Yeah, 17-14. If it rains and then it stops and it's not nasty and it's the field is not what I don't know what kind of grass or turf or whatever the hell it is on LSU's
They got
in LSU Stadium, but it's something I never really experienced before. So I
yeah.
don't really know. I'm trying to think about how the grass was
It's
against
Bermuda
Bama last year.
grass. That's what they call it. They call LSU's Tiger Stadium grass Bermuda grass. It's very
Bermuda
thin
grass.
leaves.
So I can't remember last year because it rained a lot for the Bama game last year.
Oh, what?
Was the field nasty?
It wasn't horrible. No, I think it drained pretty well. I think it doesn't retain or not. It ain't like no high school stadium where you're gonna be sitting there like puddles all
Yeah,
over the place.
gotcha. Okay.
I think it's good.
Bermuda. What kind of grass it is again?
Bermuda. Remind me of the Bermuda Triangle,
Bermuda
dog.
grass. I'm gonna have to go Google this when I get out of here.
I need that shit in my backyard, G. Come
Yeah,
on. I hope
yeah.
it self-trim.
So if it rains and it stops, I think A&M is in prime position to win this game 28-14. They'll win the game by 2 possessions, in my opinion. If it's not raining.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with you on that one. I'm feeling it. One more comment on this game. Drone show. I talked about it when you were popping in. People are pissed. They're bagging on LSU, talking about y'all shouldn't be doing this. And my comment is like, bro, what do you want everybody to be like this in the stadium during halftime?
A
I don't know what
drone
else to
show.
do, bro.
Explain the details to me.
So during halftime, they are going to do, instead of like the little light shows they do when they do Call in Baton Rouge and they turn the lights off and stuff, they're going to turn the lights off and they're going to have buku drones fly and then make little logos. Arkansas did it on the road against us last year. They're going to do like an LSU logo, probably a Tiger logo, and they're just going to fly buku drones with lights in the night sky. It might be like yellow lights, purple lights, whatever. But people are upset that they're doing some entertainment, is my point. They're saying we doing this shit and we losing. We're going to be down 20 points at halftime and they're going to pull this out. Uh-oh, I see the face palm. All right, here we go. How's your reaction?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Brian Kelly didn't approve this. I think this probably went over his head. I'm just going to assume. I'm going to assume this went over Scott Woodward's head. I'm going to assume this got something to do with the president of the university or something to that nature. There's no way in hell BK is cool with this on Saturday. Playing the number 3 team in the country?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
In the rain.
Man, do this against Western Kentucky. Do this against Southeastern. Do this against Louisiana Tech. Man, you don't do this against the number 3 team in the country? Come on, man. Stop. No. This is like official. This really happening?
Yes. LSU football posted this graphic right here on our screen. Drone.
See, you know what this tell me?
Huh.
The priorities messed up.
Oh my God. Hold up. Read it. It says halftime and between the third and the fourth quarter. They're doing it twice.
The priorities in Death Valley is completely out of control right now. Bro, listen, let me tell you something. If this was Nick Saban running this program, he would have a damn meeting with the chairman of the university and say, look, we can't do this on Saturday. We're not doing this on Saturday. We haven't proved enough to be able to do a damn drone show during halftime in between quarters. Absolutely not. Right. Save that shit for Western Kentucky.
It could be a meme, that's for sure. I think it could be one of those things.
This is terrible. It's a bad decision. Bad decision.
That was the general reaction that I saw on Twitter. I was like, man, I don't know how I feel about it. I could take
I wish President Tate was still here, man. I know he would have to have a rebuttal to this, bro.
My guy Will knows ball too. Hey, President Tate, that's a ball knower right there.
President Tate at Rutgers, huh? Rutgers University?
Yeah, in the Big Apple.
Shout out to President Tate, bro. Hey, they gonna miss President Tate. They gonna miss him.
I'll say one thing about President Tate that I always found very interesting. Obviously, real polite dude. Like I said, knows ball, which was kind of astounding for me, bro. Because I never had a principal at any of my schools that was relatively cool. I'm sorry, or just like knowing ball, dog. Like he really knew basketball. Either way, uh, the thing that sticks out with him to me is that he would attend every recruiting visit. I'm talking about everyone, bro. I don't care if you gym, baseball, track, whatever. Always would meet you, always would make you feel welcomed, always would try to have a custom plan for you. I mean, that's the beauty of a school like LSU, bro.
President Tate is definitely down to earth, and I was very upset when LSU and him parted ways,
Yep.
and I could tell that he wasn't happy with the way it ended.
Nah, I know. Shout out to you, man. I know Rutgers about to start balling in athletics. All right, G. Time for the power ratings. And look at the changes. Not a one except number 5. I kept everybody in the damn same spot. Same spot. Got 5 SEC teams in the top 10, G. I don't have them ranked in the same order, though. And let me explain why I tell you. I'm going to get on my damn judicial stand, bang the gavel, give you a verdict, whatever you want me to say, bro. Here it is. Alabama's still my number 1. I think Aggies can make it a tough conversation. I think you could consider this maybe a 1A, 1B situation with them and A&M. I like Marcel Reed, obviously. I just rely on Ty Simpson in Alabama. They seem like one of the best units. I picked them last week. They were on fire. I can appreciate that going forward. That Georgia win's going to stay in my head. Georgia, number 3. I knew they'd beat Ole Miss. That's why I put them here. I didn't want to have to do the little shuffle and all this. I saw it coming, whatever. Put the Bulldogs at 3. Shout out Kirby Smart. He didn't call a timeout, though. Neither did Kevin Durant. So, hey, I'm going to stand on both business. Ole Miss, number 4, solid team. Chambliss is the future. I mean, we know this. Come on. We know this. Chambliss is the guy. He the man. Number 5, I had to put Vandy up there. And this is why. I had Texas. I did a little shuffle. Texas went to overtime with Kentucky. Is every week in the SEC tough? Yes, sure. That's ridiculous. Vandy put a whooping on LSU. Got their first win since like the 90s. He's also Pavia, a top 5 Heisman. And I want to say that to end out these rankings. It looks similar to last week. Like I said, top 4 still the same. Maybe it's just good grades, man. Maybe it's just good grades. I don't know. How you feeling, G? What you thinking about this list?
I like it top 5. The only thing I'm changing is I'm putting A&M 1,
I
Bama 2.
I can see that. And this weekend, like I said, if A&M does what you're thinking, no rain, double digit or 10 plus point spread, I'll probably move them up number 1 just because they did that to one of the top defenses here. And it's 1A, 1B. I could shuffle. These are the changes that I could see happening. So if you look at how everything's playing out, Ole Miss is playing Oklahoma. Interesting matchup. Vandy's playing Mizzou. That's going to be college game day. That'll be a hell of an environment. Georgia gets a bye week. Alabama plays South Carolina, and obviously A&M plays LSU. So the biggest implications, quite frankly, LSU and A&M and Vandy and Mizzou. This can shake up a lot of stuff right here. Because if Vandy gets that dub, hypothetically, I'm not saying it'll happen, but hypothetically, Ole Miss loses to Oklahoma. Damn, Vandy might have just creeped into a top 4 situation in the SEC. Which
You know what?
is a
You know
playoff
what I
seed.
want to know? I want to see. So, okay, LSU is expected to lose on Saturday. I think that's fair to say.
I would agree.
If they lose Saturday, will the fan base really still hold that against BK? Like, man, this is a bad season. You're a bad coach, and you're not the right guy for the job. When they're expected to lose, they're playing the number 3 team in the country. They minus 2.5, plus 2.5 going into this game, according to Vegas. So, do you really give them a lot of scrutiny if they lose a game on Saturday?
I'm going to say no because I feel like, to your point, if everybody's already expecting it, and this is already the number 3 team in the
But
country.
you know, LSU fans are delusional. You know,
They
LSU
are.
fans are unrealistic. You know, LSU fans are more or something like Cowboys fans. You know, they always think they're gonna win it all every year, right?
Yeah.
Even when they know they ain't, even when they don't even
Yeah.
have a good team, they still think they're gonna win it.
Nah.
That's just how LSU fans are. So that's my question. Like, they not a better team than A&M. This is the number 3 team in the country. They undefeated. They got some really good wins. Do you really hold this against BK if they lose on Saturday? I don't think it's fair, especially with what's going on with the offensive line, especially what's going on if Weeks don't play.
Yep. That's
Like,
the big one.
I think you got to give him a little grease.
I agree. I think the only way that I'll see the other side, my devil's advocate argument here would be like, let's say it's a game management decision where you went forward on 4, should have took the points, you wound up losing by 1, then maybe. But if it's just a loss and you played your best effort and A&M's just a better team and shit, they covered a 3-point spread that Vegas put out, I'm not gonna be upset. We already talked
I
about how we
agree.
feel Monday because it's like, bro, I understand that a lot of people at face value don't understand how much stuff has to go on behind the scenes to do a buyout, to hire a new staff. Like, bro, I'm telling you, you're gonna be in the same spot. A lot of people are gonna disagree, and to your point, that's the delusion in the fans because they're thinking you hire a new guy, he's great, and then the first year we won and it's over. It took just one move. I mean, we like me and you both know how this is about to go. The coaching
And the, and
carousel
the,
is no carousel, man.
and what the LSU fans gotta stop saying, they keep talking about we did a buyout with Ed Ogeron. Ed Ogeron buyout was 18 M's, bro. Last time I checked, 18 M's and 50 M's is completely different.
Yeah, and
So
then
people need to stop saying it. They really need to stop saying that. And even if they wait till next year, 40 M's is still way more than 18 M's. I'm
in
just
a
saying.
world too where every coach getting extended is getting 12 million a year, more than likely, G, we know how this is going to go. You're going to have to go take somebody's coach. You're going to have to extend them with a huge contract. You're going to have to bring in more analysts. Right now, Blake
All
Baker's
right.
the highest paid coordinator. So it's like, bro, you throw 50 mil in the fan, you throwing 50 more mil in
All
the
right. So I got something for you.
fan.
So what if they get blew out Saturday? What if they get blew out Saturday like they did against Bama last year?
Like 42-14 is horrible, never competitive, and everybody just pissed off.
And
The
then
fan,
people
the fans
people
gonna
start
get
beating the traffic at third quarter.
The fans gonna want it. I'm a stand. I could see LSU. Look, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they could even finish 6-6, 7-5. I just don't know in my head if throwing $100 million in a fan at this era of college football is the way to go. Another point
Hey,
too, you know,
look, I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you. You get blew out in Death Valley for the second year in a row, like that's unacceptable. You go 6-6 and end up in the Little Bowl.
they
I I definitely think Scott Woodward gonna be waiting for him in the tunnel.
they going to the Pop Tart Bowl already, man. I'm already expecting some foil. I'm already expecting going to South Florida or something. Like I'm already knowing what I'm getting. Maybe a damn barbecue bowl, a baked beans bowl, a mayonnaise
Hey, I'm gonna
bowl.
tell
Like
you.
I'm
I'm gonna
getting
tell.
some type of mediocre bowl.
Look, look. I'm gonna tell you. See, LSU fans, they'll still go to Florida.
Oh
Can
hell
you imagine if they get put in a New Mexico Bowl?
yeah. The Idaho potato bowl.
I forgot that. Dog, if they get put in like the New Mexico Bowl or something like that, that'll be a travesty.
No, it would be. I just, man, like it don't make sense in my head. I don't know who you would hire, and I don't know how you'd get the money, and then I don't know what you would do with the money, and then I also don't know how everybody would respond in 1 year. Like my worry is,
It's like I said on Monday. I'm being. You know, I was joking just now, but being realistic, there's no way you can fire him and pay him 50 million. It just wouldn't make sense. And if you want to get a hot name to come in here, you're gonna have to pay him too much money. The only answer to this is you just gotta part ways with everybody on the office of staff.
and if that happens, somebody popped up this question in the chat, bro, and I'm very glad that you said this because this man right here, I think, has an interesting situation. So Billy Napier, obviously, play caller for Florida, former head coach for Florida, nice offensive mind. LSU potentially could be in the search for an offensive coordinator. Gene, I want to pick your brain on this because it would be a step down. You know, you're still at the SEC level because as of right now, if you had to make me guess, if he got another head coaching job, it'd be Southland, Sunbelt, a little bit of a smaller level. Now,
Southland.
yeah, I ain't lying. I'm
No,
sorry. And I'm not talking shit.
I can't let you disrespect Billy like that.
I respect you standing up for your guy.
Bro,
I think he gonna have to earn his stripes a
no,
little bit.
bro, no,
I think
bro,
so.
no, bro,
And that's
no,
hey, look, I respect. Look, hey, this is why I
no,
respect you, man. You gonna stand for your guy. I just
no, bro,
I don't think he getting a bigger job. I'll say it that way. He ain't
no.
getting a
Nate,
big job.
listen,
So
listen.
is the LSU
Nate,
offensive coordinator job
Nate
like does
ain't
it
going to no
appeal?
damn Southland conference.
Well,
Absolutely
then
not.
does he go to LSU? What do you think? You think this is a job he'll consider like, all right,
No,
cool, pride to the side, let's run it.
no.
He's not gonna do this.
First of all, him getting hired as an OC wouldn't make sense because one of the biggest issues they had at Florida with him is the play calling. So why
I
would
agree.
LSU bring him there? They're gonna be calling him Joe Sloan 2.0. So
Yeah. You
no.
You had
No.
an interesting point because you were saying that him being a head coach and focusing on the play calling would be too much. And then now the gear started turning. I saw someone comment. I'm like, all right, cool. So if he's just focusing on play calling, could it get better?
I still think that Nate is a head coach.
Mm.
He's a CEO. He's a leader of men. He does a great job of delegating and making things run the right way. I just think he needs whatever he ends up next, he needs to let someone else be the OC. I just really believe that, bro. And I think if he'd have did that at Florida this year, I'm not saying they would have been top 5 in the country, but he would be in the mix to get in that 12-team playoffs. He would be 5 right now for sure.
Yeah, it was quite the turn of events. Looking like dialing it back to, let's say, SEC Media Days, the biggest question mark I had wasn't even about any talent, wasn't about nothing other than the strength of the schedule. And that's just the cards you dealt. You know what I'm saying? You said it like a year ago. I remember verbatim. You were just saying you can only play the games that you get given. Like, you're not just going to go out there and change your schedule. So, I mean, look, if this was another year, another schedule, who knows what happens to Billy Napier, dog? Maybe they only lose 2 games. They just got dealt a really tough path. I ain't going to lie
And I
to you.
and look, I just think that DJ, I talked about this a few weeks ago. Me and Jabbar Jalou, the running backs coach at Florida, you know, me and him was just discussing the landscape of college football and just the state of the program at Florida. And he alluded to DJ he really didn't play in the spring. He didn't really participate in the spring. Fall camp came, he got hurt like the first week in fall
Mm-hmm.
camp. So when you go that long without repping it, and getting that chemistry with your O line, getting that chemistry with your receivers, and seeing different defenses, and just getting into the swing of things, bro. It's hard to come jump in this league and think you're just gonna hit on all cylinders. DJ Lagway looked better last year as a true freshman than he do this year, and I think it's because of what Coach Jabbar Jalou talked about. Him missing the spring, him getting hurt the first week in fall camp, and it hurt him when the season came. I think if that doesn't happen, things are probably totally different right now in Florida. I think you see him doing what Marcel Reed doing right now.
Interesting. Do you think DJ Lagway stays in the system, or you think he's going to have a pick of a litter here?
He's saying all the right things. They're asking him about the portal and will he leave. He's saying I'm a Florida Gator and all this. That's what he's supposed to say. But like I said Monday, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it. LSU need to throw the kitchen sink at DJ Lagway. And I already told you that there's rumors that LSU gonna be trying to go after Nico, the quarterback at UCLA.
2 good prospects. That arguably be the 2 top prospects in the entire transfer portal.
And I
That's
look,
one position.
I don't want people to think that means that I don't believe in Michael Van Buren or the coaching staff don't believe in Michael Van Buren because they think really highly of Michael Van Buren. But if you got a chance to get DJ Lagway and you got a chance to get Nico, you can't pass that opportunity up.
Called a no-brainer, G. I'm gonna agree with you there. Hey, that'd be nice. That changed a lot of trajectory. BK makes a move like that, I think everybody's on board for one more year. I ain't gonna lie. It's depending on
And
how you make
I
it
think
work.
Tommy Reese is gonna be his first candidate to be the offensive coordinator last year. That's his guy from Notre Dame, and he's the quarterback coach with the Cleveland Browns, which is a dumpster fire right now. So he's gonna be glad to leave out of that to come to the SEC.
Didn't Tommy Reese work at Bama too with the board for a little bit or something? Let me look it up.
Did
For
he?
some reason, his name reminds me of
I know he's the quarterback coach with the Browns right now.
Yeah, he coached a little bit at Alabama. That's what I thought. I heard that name somewhere before. All right, before we get out, let's pay attention to the chat real quick. We had everybody popping off. Oh my lord, this dude say LSU 75 at best if it rains. He thinks A&M gets it. He's worried about the rushing ability. Says, oh lord, this one's interesting. We're gonna keep this one off. Haven't seen your podcast since the loss. Gee, we still pushing, man. Come on, we still hustling. They said they haven't tuned in since LSU lost to Vandy. I'm letting them know we still pushing.
Right.
Come on, we didn't end the show. Show ain't canceled, bro. We still going. Come on, it is what it is. LSU is a hot rod in the end zone. You can tell because they kick field. Hot rod. Hot rod threw me off. No,
That's an interesting term.
It is. Leave 4 on the floor every time. All right, well, no, maybe a shit rod. No, I'm joking. One player y'all feel we should have signed in recruiting that would have made the team better this year. I think this one's a no-brainer. Jakeem Stewart? No? Is that? Or DeCorian Moore? Damn, now that's tough. I don't know. Because DeCorian Moore doing work at Oregon. And I don't really know what Jakeem doing.
I still don't think if you got Jakeem Stewart or Decorum Moore that they still in the same situation.
All
I
right.
don't
Well,
think they would have. I don't think they would have affected them losing or
no.
winning against Vandy or Ole Miss.
I'm just kind of trying to think about who would make the biggest impact, and I can't think of any other people besides that too.
I do think they could have helped, but I don't think they would have made a difference if they would have won or lost against Vandy or Ole Miss.
You got
That's just
anybody
my
that
opinion.
would? You don't think
Nah,
anybody
not a
would?
true freshman. Not a true freshman, bro. And now there's a freshman quarterback. Maybe Bryce Underwood. If Bryce Underwood was the starting quarterback at LSU, things might be a little different. And this is
True.
why. And this is why I said it, because the offensive line wouldn't have to be perfect every time you go to throw the ball. Because Bryce Underwood will be able to manipulate the rush, and they would have to be very skeptical of how they want to blitz and things of that nature because of his escapability and how
Mhm.
athletic he is.
Yep.
So if Bryce Underwood was the quarterback at LSU right now, that might have affected rather they if they would have won at Ole Miss and at Vandy. I truly believe that. And that's no knock the Nussmire, but that's just what it is. That's
Mhm.
the day and age we living in, bro. You have to have a quarterback that can get out the pocket and make DCs think twice about how they gonna blitz you and come off the edge on you. And when you playing against Nussmire, bro, you don't have to think twice. You just go.
No. Right. I like this one right here. Come on, G. Look at this. He said LSU fans ain't Cowboy fans. That's Michigan fans. Oh.
And guess what? I am a Michigan fan. I'm a Michigan fan. Hey, look, whoever that was, you're only good as your last national championship. How
All
about that?
right. Hey, this is
How about
probably
that?
the only
How about
year.
that?
Oh wow,
How
you
about
gonna be
that?
able to use that. I like it though. I like it.
Bleed
L-
blue.
this dude say LSU gonna be 7-5. Talking about shouldn't have hired him for 10 years, 100 million. I'll say this: next coach you get, I don't do 10 years. I'll do 5. But
10
10
years was 10
a
years
lot.
was insane work.
This guy said more like the toilet bowl. We talking about Boston baked beans bowl. He talking about toilet bowl. This might be one of my favorite comments. Napier to Tulane. Holy crap!
I I like that too. I just think Blake Baker gonna get that job. Former player at Tulane.
Ooh.
You
Okay.
know, doing really good as a DC, regardless of what people want to say. What happened against Vanderbilt. Understands the state. I coached at Louisiana Tech. It just makes sense to give Blake that job.
I
I think
like
I
it.
think I think Napier will give him a run for his money though.
I got two more comments right here that I want to pop up. Where is it at? Where is it at? Okay. This person said Nico, his dad's a headache. This popped into my head when you were talking about Nico. Remember the portal situation? Like, I want more money, yada yada yada. Does that worry you? I want to ask you about that real quick.
Hey,
And
Devin
go ahead.
Johnson, let me tell you something. Most guys that's 5 stars and top tier prospects, their family is a headache. I don't know. I don't know if you knew that or not. But most top tier guys, their parents, the mom or the dad, or both, are a headache more often than not.
They know what they got. Last one. I like this one. Coach Hankton, offensive coordinator, potentially. If you're looking, could you promote from within? Now, here's why I like this one because you remember way back when, first year with Brian Kelly, the Los Angeles Rams came calling. And obviously, he didn't get the job, but they came calling. And the interest, I thought, was noteworthy. And then if you look at Cortez, obviously, BT, Malik, bro, Brock Bowers, Lad McConkey, like, I mean, he's touched a lot of talent. Do you think that that's something that they could consider?
I don't think they'll consider Cortez Hankton for the OC job. I think they're really just going to clean house. I think the
Okay.
only person that's untouchable on that offensive side of the ball is Frank Wilson, and we know why, bro. He's like the Godfather. He's been around in that program for years and years and years. His relationship with boosters, alumni, the president, it's so much that come into play when you talk about Frank Wilson. I
Mhm.
just don't see him losing his job. I think he's the only one that's untouchable.
Yeah, I agree with that. Been a nice little stream, man. Nice little people joining the chat. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're gonna be live Friday at 1 o'clock with the picks, man, with the locks. Last week we swept. You think we keeping it up this week? 3-0, 3-0, 6-0 over two. Somebody keeping it up. I don't think we
I can
can't.
handle success. I
We
don't know if you
can't.
can, but I can handle success.
My comment, I was about to say we can't do all that and then let it go. So if that's where my mind's going, man, I think I'm locked in. I don't know. I'm gonna keep the main thing the main thing. You know what I'm about to do? All night in the lab, over and over. Work, 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 work. Focus. Come on. You gotta lock in. Saturday, y'all bring your poncho, bring your umbrellas. Y'all know the drill. Friday at 1 o'clock. Hit that thumbs up before y'all get out of here, please. It helps us out. G, appreciate your time. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.